Charlie's Rent-A-Truck agency charges $47 per day plus 8 cents per mile to rent a certain truck. Hugh's Rent-A-Truck charges $40 per day plus 15 cents per mile to rent the same truck. How many miles will have to be driven in one day for the cost of Charlie's truck to equal the cost of Hugh's truck? The first step to solving this problem is to understand and translate the problem. The first step in that is to define your variables. We're going to let x equal the number of miles driven in one day. We're going to let y equal the cost to rent. The cost then is found by taking the rate per mile times the number of miles plus the rate per day. And this times here is indicated by an x, so that's not a variable. So we can write our equations now. The first equation is going to be y, since y represents the cost. For the first truck, the rate per mile is 8 cents, so I'll write that as 0.08. The number of miles is our x variable, and the rate per day is $47. So that's the first equation. And we need a second equation so we can find y and x. So the second equation, we'll use the same idea. The cost, which is y, is equal to the rate per mile, which is for the second company 15 cents, times the number of miles, which again is x, plus the rate per day, which is $40. So we will solve this system to solve the problem. We can now go to the second step of solving this problem, which is to carry out, which means we're going to solve this system. I would use substitution to solve this system, so I'm going to substitute into the second equation. I'll substitute what y equals in the first equation, so I'm going to have 0.08x plus 47, because that's what y is equal to 0.15x plus 40. Now I can solve this equation for x, which indeed is the quantity that we're trying to find. I'll subtract 0.08x from both sides, and so I'll have 47 is equal to 0.07x plus 40, and then I'll subtract 40 from both sides of the equation, and so I'll have 7 equals 0.07x. Now I can divide both sides by 0.07, so 7 divided by 0.07 happens to be 100. So we know that x is 100. Now remember that x represents the quantity that we're asked to find, the number of miles that must be driven per day in order for the costs of the trucks to be equal. And so my answer to the problem is the following. The number of miles that must be driven in one day is 100 miles.